She's provided criminal defense to political prisoners for 3 decades, from the Black Panthers, the Black Liberation Army, the Weather Underground, the United Freedom Front, Richard Williams, Tom Manning, Larry Davis, who was recently murdered, as you all know, and Sheikh Omar Abdelrahman, as well as many others criminalized by capitalism and racism that pervades our society. As most of you know, Lynne was indicted, tried, and convicted by the US government for work as a post-conviction attorney for Abdelrahman. The government invaded the attorney-client privilege by tapping her jailhouse conversations and by raiding her law office, and the prosecution sought a 30-year prison sentence, just around the number of years she's been working to fight on behalf of these individuals. But this was defeated by a massive outpouring of support, including many of you in this room, that resulted in a 28-month sentence. Lynne is now free on bail, awaiting a decision on appeal, which was argued just this past January 20th. And she continues to work and speak widely in anti-war, anti-police brutality and murder cases, feminism and political prisoner and jailhouse lawyer issues. Today, Lynne will be talking about the history of torture as perpetrated by the US since 1898. And she will include in that survey her client, Sheikh Abdelrahman, and the more recent persecution of the San Francisco Eight. Welcome, Lynne. Thank you.
Clark stole my line there when he said that this was the longest running show at the Left Forum. I know it well because the first time I spoke before the forum was scarcely a week after, wasn't even a week after I had been arrested. And I joined the group that was speaking on the coming of the police state, and it was a very memorable, not only to me but to everybody else that was there. And thank goodness we've turned it into a long-running hit show. I don't know whether it is thank goodness or not, but at any rate, this is our 6th year coming up now, because it was 6 years ago in April of 2002 that I was arrested, and have gone through this long series of what I consider government intrusions. I think Michael and Clark speak to you globally and lay out to you globally how this police state operates and the origins of it, but I want to put the personal face of it on, and the personal face, of course, is my face, and as I had in my introduction, we are sitting around biting our nails waiting for the appeal to be decided by the Second Circuit. It was with no small degree of angst that we realized that one of the 3 judges who will decide my fate is a first cousin of George W. Bush, a fellow named Walker. And for any of you who were in attendance at the oral arguments, and we had a massive turnout, we had the ceremonial courtroom filled, and then an overflow courtroom was filled, and many other people, the marshals managed to turn around downstairs, not allowing them to wait for seats to open up. But it was once again a really sublime moment for me, at least, the notion that people will turn out and show up and vote with their feet on an issue such as this. And it remains an issue, and I'm coming to that. But the argument was had. Judge Walker was showed that he's from the same gene pool as his cousin, being arrogant and stupid. I'm not worried about a libel suit at all. The truth is an absolute defense, I believe. At any rate, in his remarks and in his arguments at the argument, and my lawyer, Josh Draytell, basically had to straighten him out and say, no, but those aren't the facts, Judge. And then he would go on as if he never even heard it. I mean, which is certainly something we've seen in in his relative as well. So we're waiting, we're biting our nails. People say probably not going to be a decision for, we can't think in terms of weeks, probably not even maybe in terms of months but it's not coming anytime soon. They're going to fight about this. They're going to go back and forth. And frankly, if I appear many more times at the Left Forum, I'll be very happy. Free pending appeal. I noticed that a young woman named Brianna Waters, who was convicted in Seattle as being a member of the Earth Liberation Front on what is the flimsiest and most absurd informant testimony, was remanded as soon as she was convicted and sits in a jail cell today. So up to date, we're waiting. We always carry hope with us, but we know one thing, that the struggle, my struggle, will continue no matter what. And much as I love drum, I have to say, dare to struggle, dare to win was maybe said by another guy named Mao Zedong. And that, of course, it is dare to struggle and dare to win. That has got to be what we are about right now. I've always said that my case was definitely about making an example of me for the bar to say, don't go too far. We saw another example this past week, and I'm not going to dwell on this because I don't think I'm as sure of my facts as I would like to be. But I definitely feel that if Eliot Spitzer had been a Midwestern government deeply in the camp of George Bush, there would have been no resignation. And the idea that we single people out and we get rid of them by using this tactic of smearing them, and the smear is legitimate. I'm not saying we should have governments that go to pay off high-priced prostitutes. It certainly, as a feminist, it grates against me in the primary place. But on the other hand, on the scale of things that we have seen in the last 8 years, this is small potatoes indeed. Give me a... So, I had billed myself as talking about torture, but I missed a cue here because actually Michael is going to do torture tomorrow in another seminar with Michael Ratner and Al McCoy. And so I had thought we were all going to do a little thing. They were going to do big torture. I was going to do little torture. But I'm going to do, but not to torture you with this.